Hello there, coming in with another reading from my book Rosa's Choice to share some of the powerful messages that Rosa, one of my babies in spirit, with whom I wrote this book, and all the channeled messages on information about life before life, what's really going on, really the behind the scenes. It's more, conception is more than a physical meeting. There is like a whole ripple in the universe. You're creating new life, you're birthing new consciousness. And this book looks at why babies are arriving, why they choose to wait a while, why they may not be able to stay, and all of the amazing support and insights that they have to offer us here before they arrive. So I used my book, it's the anniversary of Rosa's Choice, which is why I'm taking the week to share some of her messages, and also there's an offer on, so if you do have my book, then you're entered into a prize draw and you can win a free session with me, whether that's a spirit baby reading or a healing or a channeled message. But there's also a 25% discount off any sessions as well, and little gifts along the way if you get in touch and you share a message from Rosa's Choice that has touched you and really helped you. So I often use my book as like an oracle deck, and I flick through the pages and ask what's the message for today, either for myself or for my clients. And I'm here, and I've just tuned in to Rosa in these beautiful woods in Tunbridge Wells today. I'm just about to go to my friend's speaking event, so just taking a little bit of time out in nature before that. And the page that I flick to today, and I can't do it in front of you because I haven't got anywhere to hold my phone up, but the page that the information that she wants to share with you all today is on page 120, is the page that I turn to if you have the book. And it's all around your own time in the womb. So this is absolutely fascinating. Like, how much do you know, consciously know, about your experience in the womb and your own birth? So in every package of work or all of my courses, we always go back to the womb first, because this is where everything starts in this lifetime at least. So your experiences in the womb, the beliefs that you made there, the experiences you had, what you were picking up in the environment around you, can really it sort of sets that stall out for how you see yourself and how you see the world. So it's so important to really go back to your baby self and feel this support, offer that support to your own baby self. Because if you imagine, if your mum was having a hard time, maybe she had lots of kids, maybe she'd had losses before you, maybe it was an accidental pregnancy, although nothing is an accident, we know. You're always this little love bomb coming in to really bring things up and change life. How was she feeling? How was your mother feeling? What was going on with her relationships around her? Because there is no separation in the womb, and you're picking up everything in that environment, and maybe coming out with beliefs like I'm not wanted, or am I loved, or I'm not important enough. Those are some of the more uncomfortable or negative ones. But knowing this isn't your mother to blame, you're also only taking on the beliefs that are part of your own soul's plan. So you're taking this self-responsibility for those messages and those beliefs that you've decided actually to experience, in order to see that it's lying there long before your own arrival, and it's time to kind of heal that part, integrate that part of you, find resolution to that, and really support your baby self. Because if your baby self was feeling unsure or unsafe, then this can really affect your journey to motherhood as well. Because if you as your baby self if you're holding this fear, this uncertainty from your own time in the womb or your own birth, whether it was a traumatic birth, what was happening as you arrived, how did you feel, then you're not going to want your baby to feel the same thing, and you can feel that they might not be safe. And of course that, you know, it's not their story, it's your story. But you're here to really consciously understand your own arrival in order to change that pattern. Because the amount of clients that come to me and they consciously know about their own birth, or you know, the tiny little bit they might understand, it doesn't matter whether you're aware of it or not, but those who do, and they then say, oh yes, that's how, or that they're coming to me because they're of their own birth. They're coming because they want to heal the trauma of their own baby's birth. And then when I ask them about their own birth, there's this, you know, there's a similarity there. It's really, it's not surprising, but it always is so intriguing for me that we're kind of reliving these things until we become aware of them and we're learning that lesson. So if you don't know anything about your birth, that's also entirely fine, because you're holding that memory energetically. And what I do is we feel into, okay, how, just think about your birth, and you might consciously know or not, and then we follow the energy and we go back in to meet your own baby self in the womb, and what she or he were experiencing, what they were picking up, what they were feeling, how safe they were feeling, and really go in to hold your own baby self, so those beliefs, those traumas can be resolved. And then this, you know, reimagining your birth, you set the conditions for that, how you wanted to arrive, where you wanted to arrive, who you wanted to be there, how you wanted to feel, and then this reconnection with yourself, and with either your mother or another divine being, if that doesn't feel so right with your own mother. And it really is life-changing. I wish everyone would be consciously aware of what was going on in the womb and what was going on in their own birth, because when I see certain people in the way that they're behaving, or the way that they, you know, are acting in the world, I automatically go, I wonder what their birth was like. What was their time in the womb? What was their relationship with, you know, with the mother? What was their experience? Because I can kind of see it, you know, in the energetic field, and you know, secretly wish, oh, I wish they would just go and take a look at that, because it changes everything. It really does. And the amazing Sharon King has written a whole book called Heal Your Birth, Heal Your Life, to go and check that one out as well as Rosa's Choice. So on this 120 page, it's really talking about the impacts of your time in the womb and your own birth. So, you know, just have a moment to sit with, what do you consciously know? How does that feel in your body? Does it feel like a joy? Does it feel any tension? Put a color to it. If it had a color, what color would it be? And then if there was a color to support that, what color are you going to bring in, just as a very quick healing and awareness of an energy you might hold from your own birth. Because your future babies, you know, they want to have they've got their own choices of their birth experience and what they're going to pick up, of course, for their own soul's plan, but they don't need to be landing into a womb which is holding lots of unresolved grief, previous losses from your mother, your grandmother, and beyond, because you're here to heal those patterns. You're here to end those patterns, so there's a new way of being birthed. And I always say, if we can find a new way of, well, we found a new way, if we can open to a new way, and more people open to a new way of how we perceive conception, how we conceive pregnancy, how we conceive birth, and are participating in that and consciously participating in that, then how different would the world be? Because then you are not birthing trauma. And what we're often doing is continuing to birth trauma from our own traumas, or traumas in our ancestral line, and even past life traumas that I've been taken to as well. So yes, it's a really you know, gorgeous and extremely healing experience to be guided back to your own time in the womb and your own birth, so your baby self feels safe, in order for you to then feel safe and know that your baby is going to have a very different experience when they arrive. So there's no message as such from Spirit Baby on this, but there is a poem that was written by one of my friends who is a midwife, or was a midwife and lactation consultant, and it was a poem from her own baby self in the womb. So this is what she channeled. Okay, I'm only going to read you the last bit. So, women have been wounded for as long as we know, so now the time has come for women to start to grow. It's time to address the underlying hurt, the guilt and shame hidden beneath the dirt. We live in a patriarchy overruled by men, and it's now time for the matriarchy to start to rule again. Women are creative, they have their wombs for this. We just need to clear the space to make it hers, not his. For she is very strong and a threat to humankind, so that is why these men have tried to make her blind. For we have seen the truth of who we really are. We just need the courage to stand up and raise the bar. For too long we've been silenced, but not so anymore, dealing with the traumas that are really at the core. We are not our stories, we are not our past. We are so much more than that. Our world is changing fast. Okay, so yes, so this fear that men have of creation, this fear that men have of birth, that have seen them, really take over that natural women's power of giving birth. And I'm not sure I'd like to see a matriarchal society either, because that's also out of balance. But what we need to do is bring in this balance, and as that poem says, reclaim the power of our wombs, the power of our creation, and really embody our natural intuitive sense of how we wish to conceive, how we wish to birth, and really be prepared in the best of ways. That's really very much coming from your intuition, your heart, that you know what is best for you, you know what is best for your baby. It's your body, your choice. Okay, so I'd love to know how you hear this message, and of course, if you'd like to have a session to go back to either your child's birth, because it really is amazing for your own baby as well, when we go back into the birth of our children. And I have a very personal story and very impactful experience myself of the power of this work when I was looking back at my son's birth, and how when I was healing that experience, how he then experienced the healing whilst he was at school, and his teacher came over and told me what he'd said and what he'd experienced, even though we weren't together. And he was only about 6. So it's really powerful for your child's birth, but it's really, really so important for how you see yourself, and especially on your journey to motherhood, and how you wish to birth, and not be birthing any traumas, but birthing the love that you are, and birthing the love that your baby is. Okay, so please do get in touch, and yeah, I'd love to hear from you. Take care, lots of love, bye.